to strap in and get ready.
The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
Yes, and welcome back to the Insight NRL Show. Team List Tuesday, it's here, and the cheapies are coming out of the woodwork from all angles. I'm the SC Brain, SC Mattrix, and the SC Whisperer are with me. Josh, feeling better, mate? You've had a bit of time off, holidaying, but then you must have caught barley belly or something. No good.
Yeah, mate, I'm not well, but we'll get through it. It's I'm much better than what I was the other day, but yeah, still not well. Going as good as my Supercoach team, but yeah, we'll get there. We have cheapies coming out of our ass, and we're gonna have to start letting some of them go through to the keeper, which is shocking.
Yeah, tough, because we were screaming out for him, weren't we, Matty, at the start of the year, looking for a cheapie to start, and now we've got too many to choose from.
Yeah, I should have just saved all my trades at the start of the year and started trading now. That would have been great.
How'd we go last week, lads? I'll let you guys start. It's on the screen. The little trophy next to my name, which is nice. But I thought, let's start with Matty, who's rubbed it in our face, Josh, all year, basically, with how good he's been going. A bit of a fall from grace, Mattrix.
Yeah, it's... You know what? Like, you fall from grace and I'm still half your score, so half your rank. So feeling pretty good. Updates were kind, can I say? Updates were kind to everyone that didn't have Nico Hines. They were kind to them too, but they were kind to other people. But yeah, just didn't have Nico, and fell short last week. But you know what? I'm probably going to have to boost myself out of some trouble this week. So
I'd say you're not the only one boosting out of trouble. How'd you go, Josh? 11.55. Decent week for you?
I won't be boosting out of trouble because I have none. No, a last minute captaincy change cost me, 109 points. So should have been 1270, but live and learn. Captain Cleary over Hines. Just thought, that new combo, maybe give it a week. But obviously, yeah, Nico is back to his just shitting out points best, which is great for Supercoach and great for your non-permanent captain take, which is aging like a fine wine. But no, okay week. Didn't make trades last week, so wasn't expecting to have a massive week. But yeah. Shout out to Melissa. I sound shocking. I sound like 10 times better than what I did on Sunday. But yeah, Supercoach was fine. Didn't make any trades last week, so I wasn't expecting anything amazing. But obviously, 1270 would have been great on a no trade week if I did Captain Hines. But yeah, 1374. All right.
About time. Decent week. I think I got a bit lucky, but also took a risk on getting Garrick a week early that paid off nicely. Captaining Hines, that also obviously paid off well. Not such a bad week, but I'm in a pickle this week, and I reckon somebody needs to take my spot in here because I have more questions, I think, than answers this week on the trades that I want to make. So maybe someone can convince me the right direction because I've spoken to about 5 different people and got 5 different answers. So thanks to everyone that I've chewed ears off this afternoon and yesterday. But guys, we're live. So drop those questions below. We obviously can't get to them all, but make them good, and we'll get to them at the end of the show. Hit that subscribe button and the like button. We would appreciate that. And the follow and review if you're listening to us on audio. The show, as always, is brought to you by The Standard Squeeze and Ryan from Astute Newstead, who is always in the comments. I think he did put up a comment asking us why we're wearing hats if we're over 30. So Mattrix, did you want to answer that one? Because you answered it pretty well on Sunday night.
Yeah, like due to things like receding hairlines and skincare awareness, really. I will continue wearing my hat, and also I hate doing my hair. Plus, this is a lead hat. Like, I've moved to the cords. Like, this is sick. Like, I do not see an 18-year-old wearing this, I reckon.
I'll tell you what, if receding hairlines start at 30, then I'm fucked because I'm 26 and mine's gone.
I reckon I'm the worst of a lot of us. So we're in all sorts of trouble. That's why the hat stays on. The beanie might even get a workout through winter. But I'm copping a bit of flack in the comments, which is a fair shout. Brain, can you call out some other do nothing captains for us so we can start picking them? And then we've got Simon Brown, who I think has reminded me about 5 or 6 times every single week for the last 3 weeks. Nico is never a captain option again. And I'm going to again correct him on the quote and say that he is not a permanent captain option. Simon likes to twist the truth every single week on this one, but that is not the case. But hey, if we're looking for reverse jinxes, maybe I'll throw another couple out today and we'll see how we go. Maybe it might be Trey Fuller. Just isn't the right buy this week. And then we'll all just go and buy him and he's going to take off. Fingers crossed. Guys, very quickly before we get into the content, join the Unlimited League. The code is 777-141. This will close in about 3 weeks. So once we're up to the end of round 12, you can't enter anymore. So jump on in, 777-141, win a Supercoach Champions ring. And also go in the running to win the squeeze of the week for the highest scorer in that league every single week. So Supercoach World Cup is flying as well. We've got, I think it might even be the first time we've had someone hold the lead this year. I think we're 7 or 8 weeks in. Jake M, he moves into the front with a percentage of 2.87% across both sports. So well done to Jake. Guys, we don't really have that many injuries to go over that are Supercoach relevant, but we will tap into them anyway. News lately, Josh, is that Gutho is going to miss up to 5 weeks after surgery on his knee. Had that kind of fluid drain, didn't he, recently? And it doesn't look like it's held up.
Yeah, he's been battling, this knee thing for probably 3 or 4 weeks now, and saw him in a lot of discomfort on the weekend. So yeah, got some surgery over the week, and it's probably better to get it now than play through it and have it busted. Like they suck without Moses, so you may as well just keep sucking until he's back. So 5 weeks for Gutho. It's only 4 games because they have the bye this week. So hopefully he comes back and they're back to their best. But yeah, he's out for 5 weeks. So obviously a big sell.
Yeah, definitely. Tommy Flegler, he's probably
at least they'll get a good draft pick.
It's true. I think Flegler's initially the news on Flegler was like his injury wasn't that bad.
Yeah, this
and
is
then
weird.
Every single week it seemed to be worse and worse. And now we're 4 weeks away. He's avoided surgery, but Matty, it seems like he's got away with no surgery. He'll be back in about a month. But I mean, if you haven't sold by now, you can definitely move on.
Yeah, definitely. And if he was around, he'd be playing Origin anyway. You'd probably be considering getting rid of him in a few weeks anyway. Yeah, as much as I hate trading front row forwards, doing trades in front row forward, yeah, you got to get rid of Tommy Flegs. Too much money sitting there.
Yeah, so we've also got Jacob Saifidi. There's some good chat in the comments. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted.
It's popping up, isn't it?
Jacob Saifidi done an Achilles or an ankle. We're not 100% sure what that is yet. He's been named this week, but I mean, anything can change. I'd say that he's probably going to drop out. Kenny Bromwich didn't pass HIA last week, so he'll miss this week. And Greg Marju named, Josh, after that ankle injury, didn't make it through last game, but they've named him in this one. So are we expecting him as a last-minute kind of dropout, or do you reckon he'll get through?
Yeah, the Knights have seemed to just not care about injuries. I don't know. I suspect there'll be some 24-hour cuts here and some captain's runs that are pending fitness. Adam O'Brien probably just trying to give them as much time as possible if it is touch and go. But yeah, no confidence in Marju if you were looking at buying him. Bases down, work rates down, no KP, this weird ankle thing. So just let this one go through to the keeper. But we do know Tom Chester is out for a month with a grade 2 hamstring tear, and we do see Supercoach royalty Viliami Vailea come in for him, so which is going to be absolutely amazing. No huge relevance there, but there's probably a little bit more relevance in Appy. Obviously suffered that back cork weird sort of mechanism last week. Obviously you're at the game, so you didn't get to watch it live, but it didn't look great on the telly. But yeah, it's a weird one, and without him, the Tigers are screwed.
We're in all sorts of trouble. Mattrix, you're a Supercoach owner of Appy. He's been named this week, and all news is that he's going to be okay to play. But does this now cast a bit of doubt over whether we're holding him long term now?
I mean, honestly, if that wasn't the doubt, it's the fact that he's averaging about 30 in his last 3 games, which worries me a little bit more. I know he was a bee's dick away from scoring that try, however controversial it might be. But realistically, yeah, I think Appy's good enough that you've just got to hold him at this point. It's not going to cost you that much from what you initially bought him at. So, yeah, I'm going to be holding. I see him as a season-long keeper. But it might just make me move on my second hooker a little bit quicker so that I can play my matchups.
Yeah, Yeah, fair enough. We've got Adam Reynolds and Reece Walsh, both all sorts of cramps going on. I mean, it's Campbelltown nearly in May, and the boys are cramping like no tomorrow. I don't know whether that's nutrition based or what's going on during the week for the boys, but they got up. They're both named, so that's good. But
they've played about 2 games between them this year, to be honest, between those two. So
have had some time off, so that's probably relevant. Jock Madden, though, he's out with a pec injury, but good timing because Ezra Mam's back for the Broncos, so not really any loss there for the Broncos. Xavier Coates out with a hammy, only out short term, not a big issue Supercoach wise. Nelson Asofa Solomona with a hamstring concern. He's been named on the bench. So, I mean, as Harry Grant owners, Josh, I mean, we know that there's a benefit, a direct correlation between Harry Grant scoring well and Asofa Solomona playing. Hopefully he gets named.
Yeah, I wasn't here Sunday to toot that Nelson Grant horn, but yeah, worked out well. Hopefully he's named because we know that Grant gets much more go forward and he's much more involved close to the line with Nas back in the team. So yeah, unconfirmed, but what is confirmed is Jonah Pezzett did his ACL in Q Cup, which is not great, especially over that Origin period. Shout out to Brent, his main man, Toro Wishart might be getting a bit of a spell over the Origin period, but yeah, Melbourne obviously huge blow for them and huge blow for Pezzett, who each year continues to show that he is probably worthy of a starting spot in some kind of NRL team. You see the Titans are looking at players like Carter Gordon from the Wallabies. So, when Pezzett's, floating around there, he could get a spot, but unfortunately won't get to show that this season. Yeah,
disappointing. Bronson Garlick's found his way onto the bench. Another one of Brent's main men over there at the Storm. So
is he around for a call up or?
I know he's not far off, surely. But we've got Moses Sully, who were knocked out in the first hit up, which has now sparked this whole need to ban the kickoff kind of thing. And we're not going to get into that because we could be here all night on that. But Sully will miss this week, which means that Zach Lomax moves back to the centres, which I'm sure owners would not be very happy about. He might be happy, but Supercoach owners maybe not so much. And then the last couple of quick ones is Jennings. He's done a tricep tear. He's going to be out for a few months. So we'll probably see the last of him for a while. And Scotty Sorensen has a knee injury, so he's going to miss this week for the Panthers. Anything Supercoach relevant there, or are we happy to move on?
I feel like we got to bring up Jason Demetrio at some stage.
Is he on the injury list? Is that an injury?
Yeah. No, I don't really know. Just at some stage, yeah. We've probably just got to bring him up and yeah, I don't know how Supercoach relevant that is, but he might make some decisions a little bit left field or at least a bit different to... Ben Hornby might make some decisions a little bit different to Jason Demetrio. So.
Also worth noting, I'm not too sure why he was admitted. Maybe it's an injury because he wasn't even on the extendeds, but the greatest front row forward 2 of all time, Liam Henry, admitted this week. So not on the extended, so I assume it's an injury that he's picked up. So unfortunate. Me and Aman shared a tear this afternoon when we saw the teams.
Yeah. I mean, look, the good thing is Liam Henry's not going to lose more cash. So that's a bonus because he bled a little bit last week.
He's also the kind of guy that, like, if you get to 150, he's just like back where he was. So I'm not rushing to sell him out. Like, he's a guy that's like shit enough price that if you get to one good score, it's just right back to where he is. It's not like a James Schiller or an Ethan Strange where 2 bad scores and they've lost 150, 170k either. So definitely just worth holding there.
For sure. Let's move into the weekly preview and everything that everyone's here. Now, obviously, with the weekly preview every single week, it's we talk through buy, hold, sell, watch. So we always start with the buys. Let's do that.
Targets acquired.
Mattrix, take us away with the first one, mate.
Ruben Garrick. I know you went a week early on him, but with a break even of 5, Ruben Garrick at 600k is kind of unheard of. Good matchup this week. Good matchup for the next 2 weeks. Let's head into a couple bludgers, but you could possibly get a season-long keeper for 600k, a goal-kicking season-long keeper for 600k in Ruben Garrick. I can't find a reason not to get Rubes.
Yeah, the main reason was what Ian has alluded to in the chat. Obviously, DCE being cleared from judiciary tonight and escaping with a $750 fine. I assume that Braino is going to be paying for that one himself, just so he gets Garrick unaffected. But that was the main concern. No Humboldt Olakawatu and no DCE, was the main concern for Garrick if you were buying him. But, with Garrick back in the side there now, then the ball should still be going his way. And a great matchup and a break even of, I think, 2. So, yeah, 600K for Ruben Garrick. Egg on all 3 of our faces. We'll put our hands up there. We weren't keen on him in the centres at all in the preseason, but has just shown he's been even better, like getting involved more, getting close to the ball during hit-ups and making good tackle breaks. And, yeah, just absolute elite.
I don't know if he's been better. He did drop in price considerably, which was fantastic for us. It's
going to happen, though, like, especially with high price volatile backs. Like, you got 2 games that's going to try and all of a sudden you're 600K. We'll see that with like Val Holmes. Like Val Holmes has been scoring 70s, and all of a sudden he's faced with like 110 break even. So you can still play well and lose cash. But yeah, Garrick has been great. Bottom dollar pickup. As with Jacob Carraz. Now he was a little bit iffy being named at centre to start the season, Braino. But back on the wing now, back to his sort of best. We were really keen. All 3 of us were super keen in the preseason, but that sort of back spasm, fracture, and then no preseason, no trials, sort of scared us off a little bit. But now it's the time to jump back on. He's had 7 weeks of footy in his system and looks back to his absolute best.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at his score, and he's definitely on my radar this week. If I decide to boost, he's probably the guy that I will be getting in, playing against the Tigers this week as well, where Dean Mariner nearly scored about fucking 5 tries in that right.
He's banned. We're not naming him on this podcast. Mattrix would be filthy with Dean Mariner. He fucked us so hard last week. But yeah, obviously, Tigers good matchup. I guess let's chat Max Plath because
cool. No more of he who must not be named. Chat. I mean,
Max Plath. What a stud. He is, as I said in the chat on Sunday. If you want Cam McInnes for 420K, mate, jump on Max Plath.
I'm really struggling to get him in, Matty. Is he on your radar? Is he someone that's in your trade plans this week?
Yeah, and it's probably the dual flexibility too. I've got some guys, and we're going to be chatting about them in the sell list. The sell list is actually you guys just looking at my Supercoach team and picking 4 guys. So, yeah.
Filter by who's been the shittest for the last month and just chuck them in.
Yeah, unlucky. I don't have 2 boosts this week, but yeah, I think with the negative break even, with the consistency, with the fact that I don't even think that I need to trade him out and he could be a bench play a lot of weeks. Yeah, Max Plath is on my radar.
I want to get him in, but I don't know whether I can because I'm kind of prioritizing some other moves. And I'll talk about my trades at the end because I'd love to get some opinions on which way I should go. Because it's this man that has literally... I
don't want to talk about this man. I want to leave this man just for you because he's giving you the most headaches.
I don't know. Trey Fuller, negative 123 break even, basement price 204K. Now, the positives, he's going to make bulk cash. Probably anywhere between 200 to 300K in the next 2 weeks, pending obviously scores. But the negatives, he's fullback only. So you have to trade out a premium fullback. Now, if you're someone who's just riding with like a Kale Iro and at fullback or whatever, you've been blessed because this could probably be one of the easiest moves you make. Turbo and Walsh or Drinky or another plethora of fullback options. It is a harder decision to make because you're trading out a known commodity for a guy who's had 2 good games, don't get me wrong. But there is risk there because obviously Hamiso's nearly due back. So there's a lot of things going on.
If Hamiso was out for the season, it'd be a must-have because it's and a lot of people are comparing him to Buller last season, and the difference is Buller, it was his spot to lose, unless there's some kind of weird thing where Bennett plays Hamiso over Avarillo when he's back, and then they have Herbie, in the other centers. Apart from that, like it's just Fuller runs with Buller. Yeah, good point, Justin P. Good point. Fuller does run with Buller. I mean, apart from the unknown job security, there's no reason not to. Because he has the lowest break even that I've ever seen. It's a minus 123. It's less than what Schiller's was. Sorry, it's more than what Schiller's was. Schiller's was a 117. So it's just so much cash. And if Amiso is out until round 11, that's another 2 weeks. Scores 60-60. He's making bulk coin, but then, you're running the gauntlet of trading out Turbo. And then you also have to run the risk of discipline of trading out Turbo for Fuller, but then holding 300 or 400K in reserve because you wanted to get another gun fullback back in once this time in the sun comes out. So, goodness me, I'd love for Wayne Bennett to come out and say that Hamiso, he might miss Origin. He might not be back until round 14. That would really help. But he also does cover around 13, 16, and 19. So if you did want to go a little bit gambly, a little bit Tyson Gamble, and just play one fullback until round 20, you do have really good cover in Fuller for 13, 16, and 19.
I think the only downside there when we're talking schedule is the fact that he misses round 14, which I think is going to be a really sneakily tough week. We don't get the blessing of only having to play 13 players like a major buy round, so you've got to fill a full 17. If we bring up the schedule, if I can quickly do
it's
that.
It's not that bad. It's the Dolphins, it's the Raiders, and the Eels. Like, there's no one of huge relevance out of those sides.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
by then,
people are going to be stacking.
We should have punted Sean Lane by then. Morgan Smithy's time in the Sun's probably done. We're now starting to filter out Schiller and Strange. That just leaves your Osakos, your Plaths, and your Fullers of the world. I don't think 14 is as bad as what people are making out, personally.
Joey Manu as well, pretty popular. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably because everyone's holding Raiders right now, but we're moving them on. So I'd say, yeah, you're probably right in that instance. But yeah, Trey Fuller, very tricky one. I don't have the answer for it right now, but I'm leaning. I've been toing and froing on this all day.
Don't be a pussy. Just do it.
I think I'm leaning towards just doing it with the amount of cash I can create and how I can better my team.
Can I be honest? This could be a point in the year that we come back and look at, and there is the people that got Fuller and the people that didn't, because Hammer gets ruled out for 2 weeks because it's super wet and Turbo drops some cash this week. Like, it could be season defining, this trade with Trey.
It reminds me of COVID year when Hines was floating around for the Storm. So Hines only got 3 weeks because Pappenhausen was out, and then that third week Pappenhausen was out for about 3 weeks, and then after that third week again Munster was out for like 6 weeks. So people that jumped on Hines got him and they had so much insecurity over his minutes and his security and whatnot, and they got the season for him. I don't think we're going to get the season out of Fuller, but one thing goes wrong. Hamiso has shown he can play in the centres, and if Fuller continues just to play as well as he is, there could be a real conundrum on our hands, and you could have a 65, 70 averaging fullback for 200k. I mean, I placed a bet with Mattrix that Fuller out averages Turbo from now until when Hamiso's back. So if you believe that, if you're on my side, like, you've got a premium for 200k, and that's just unheard of.
Yeah, fair call. I will update everybody on how I'm feeling by the end of the pod.
You'll get the peer pressure in the group chat by us. Don't you worry.
Probably.
We don't have the balls to do it. We're not doing it, so we want to live vicariously through you.
I'm a man of the people, so we'll probably make it happen. But there's one other buy this week. Funnily enough, I didn't even put him in the notes, but he's actually someone I'm buying myself, and that's Britton Nickera. He's sitting at 595k. He's coming off an 89 last week. Obviously a 93 after upgrades. With Nico now, obviously without Trindle, I feel like he took a lot more control last week, and that's directly going to benefit Britton Nickera. We've got a break even of 50, so it's not like you need to jump right now. It's not you must get on, otherwise he's going to be 700k next week trade. But he is playing the Dragons. He did look good outside of Nico last week, so I think this is the week that you can jump on and feel pretty good about playing him for the most part, nearly every matchup moving forward as well. Any additional thoughts on Nickera?
Nah, says a keeper. You're getting him at, I would say, bottom dollar, but he actually made cash last week after scoring 93. But yeah, pretty much at bottom dollar for Britton Nickera. So yeah.
Can I add one more to the buys?
Sure,
do it.
Nico Hines.
He's gonna be the first player over $1 million this season. Currently 963k. I put the stat up today on X. So Nico Hines could be the first player to surpass $1 million this season. He has a break even of -3 at 964k. A score of 42 would take him over $1 million. So the handbrake's been well and truly released off him. And I think Braino would redact his statement of him now being a permanent captain week in, week out.
Yeah. For anybody who wants me to just put the old reverse Malachi on anyone tonight, so just drop them in the comments and I'll let you know that they're not a good buy. And watch them fly to the moon.
No, but there's no reason not to. You have to rip your team apart to get Nico if you don't have him. I know you guys have him, and Braino did the note, so Nico didn't make the list. But with a -3 break even for Nico, he's going to become unaffordable soon. you have to, like, I'm hoping that you have, if you're running Aiden Caesar at halfback, you downgrade Joey Manu and Ronaldo Mulatalo to Dylan Armstrong and enough to get Nico in your team this week. I think that I can't watch another game not owning Nico.
Oh, just without Trindle now, like the separation of him to the next best is just ridiculous. Like without Trindle, he's just it's bullshit. He just shits points. I swear I watched him touch the ball like 18 times in one set. Like he just does shit. That's just like, what the hell's happening? He only had 3 try assists last week, and 2 of them were one of them was off a kick. So he only had 2 line break assists, and still scored 160. He just shits points for fun.
Yeah, does it way too easy. Plenty of buys, isn't there? Bloody hell. Let's move on to the players we should. I'm fucking second guessing this first one because he's on the hold list every week, boys. Taylor May.
He'll be 270k, and we'll be like, you've come this far.
Yeah, basement price 204k. Can't lose any more cash, can he? He's versing Souths, who have probably the leakiest edges in the comp. They just every winger and centre just shits points against Souths. Is it the right move to hold him now, boys? Like, I'm starting to second guess myself because he's on the list every week.
Yeah, I don't think that he can be much worse. He could nearly be a buy with how cheap he is now.
It's kind of like you've already sat and lost so much cash. So like, if you trade him now, you're trading him kind of near the bottom. I'd like to say near the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm no TikTok aficionado, but apparently he was he may have been indulging in a bit of the smoke on TikTok Live this evening. So I don't know. Do with that what you will. I mean, I didn't see it, so I can't say anything. But I just read it on Insta. But yeah, he's 394k. Has also. I'm just looking at this new Supercoach UI. What do we think? I want to get a poll happening in the chat. But like, what do we think of the new Supercoach interface? But it has a break even of 45, which Supercoach have given him a 13% chance of hitting. All right, sure. Yeah, against Souths, I'd be holding. Like Mattrix said, if he does go under 45 again, he's going to be like 370. I'd be looking at just picking him up. He would go from being my center wing 2 to start the season to being like center wing 5 or 6. I'd just play based off matchups.
And that's probably the message. Is you hold him because you can play him on matchups, and he considers you CTW 5 or 6, and that's.
He'd be my center wing 7, if I'm being honest.
If I had a gun to my head, I would play Kale Ero with way more confidence over Taylor May. Way more confidence.
I would play Kale Ero against the Panthers over Taylor May against the Dragons.
We've got to move back to Trey Fuller because there is a request here from Gazaraki. Thanks for the donation. Can we get a 15-second emphatic statement from the Whisperer where he absolutely sledges Fuller and I can fall asleep in peace trading him in? I thought that was me more than you. Go on.
I can't because I went early on him in fantasy. I bought him in fantasy. He's been absolutely amazing in that sense. It's really hard to talk shit on a guy that racked up 10 tackle busts last week, like 20 points just for doing nothing, and then he obviously has a million runs, and it's like the Dolphins still playing attacking footy. Unfortunately I can't give you the anti-curse seal of approval this week on Trey Fuller. I'm doing all I can to convince Braino to buy him. So.
It's true. He keeps telling me, and I keep pushing back with different reasons as to why I can't do it, but I think I'm going to get talked into it. Another hold on the list this week, and this one's a bit of a subjective one because, it's based on your team and what you need. But, I mean, Jack Bostock's break-even isn't anywhere near lose cash territory. He's actually playing, and we'll talk soon about the weather because it's very relevant this weekend, but he's actually playing in one of the only dry matches this week against the Cowboys who have not been good. So, I mean, is there kind of any reason to trade Jack Bostock unless you're upgrading Mattrix?
No, unless you really need that money. But no, I think that Bostock's a hold. I'm trying to find a way to play him this week, to be honest.
Yep, and Api Coruscant also a hold. We talked about him a little bit in the injury segment, but Mattrix, you're Appy owner and agreeing that you're going to just hold tight on him for a little bit, but you're going to have to upgrade your reserve hooker.
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Break even of 99. 3-round average of. Sorry, I'm trying to work out the new interface.
New app.
3-round average. 3-round average of 45. Like which with. Especially since as he shot me up the ranks early on in the year, I have higher expectations of Appy on the fiddler. But yeah, to be completely honest, yeah, you've just got to hold him. You're not losing any money if you don't sell him.
This is true. And go.
One more, highly commended. Terrell May, the other Yam. Is he a hold or is he a sell?
I would not blame anybody if they sold him, but we know that Lindsay Collins is going to play some Origin football this year. So through the Origin period, we're going to see Terrell May ramp back up and everyone get the shits because they moved him on in round 9 or 10, and then he takes off again from round 13 to 20. He's going to bleed a little bit of cash. I think his break even's about 90, 91 this week. The last 2 weeks haven't been good. It's been a tough watch. He's not getting the minutes there, and the bench looks exactly the same this week as it did last week. So what do you reckon, Josh? Are we holding strong with Terrell May for the short term, or is he a trade?
Yeah, I don't know. This bench is weird. Tua Wong coming back is kind of gross. You've still got Spencer Leniu to come back as well. Like, yes, I know that Lindsay Collins playing Origin will happen, but you're just replacing him with Spencer Leniu, and it's just like, what's happening? Because like the Roosters, they're playing well and he's not playing big minutes. So it's just like, what's going on? I am not looking at so much. So full transparency, I'm trading Terrell May. So probably tough the captaincy on him this week, but I am not looking at it as a front row forward trade. I'm obviously trading via Josh Curran, which is a 2RF trade for me. But as I said in the chat on Sunday, for people that weren't following along, I wasn't on the show, but I was very active in the chat. Like, I wouldn't be trading down or sideways. Like, I'm only trading to AFB. And apart from that, I'm just like, I'll just write it out because no one else at the price is exciting me. Stefano Toikamano's fallen off a cliff. And like Ruben Cotter's about to play Origin and Max King's coming off an injury. It's just like, I don't really know who I'm moving him to. So I'd probably hold unless I have the funds to go to AFB.
Yeah, I think AFB is probably the best pick. Yeah, Payne Haas coming up into Origin, coming off an injury. Tino's out for the year. They're usually the two guys we look at front row forward. So AFB is the next.
As I said to you boys on Monday when I was doing my team of the week post, the front row forward 2 right now is actually Jack DeBellin. So it's like, and he's averaging 58. So it's like fucking front row forward is just so shit. Gross.
Yuck. Samuel Fainu is a guy that I'm potentially looking at. If I was to replace Terrell May and find 150k from that trade, I don't mind Samuel Fainu with the minutes that he's getting. So yeah, that's probably my pick. I know there are a couple of questions in who do we replace May with. That's probably where I'm looking.
Fainu was fine. Like Fainu was fine. He scored 32. He gets 80 without the 80. He gets 40 without the sin bin, and then tack on another 6 points. Like he finished on 46, 47, and no one bats an eye. So I think Fainu's still a fine buy.
Yep, agreed.
I know I'm not I know I've mentioned it about 4 weeks in a row, but I am still looking at Joey Taps in front row forward.
Yeah. There's also some love for Jermaine Jolliffe. I think one of the three of us mentioned him as a buy a couple weeks ago. I can't remember which one of the three it was, but no, it was me. But no, like I couldn't live with myself if I'm paying 600k for Jermaine Jolliffe. Like if I have to go to bed and wake up the next day and look at myself in the mirror and notice that I've paid 600k for Jermaine Jolliffe, I couldn't do it to myself. But he was a great buy 4 weeks ago when Tino went down. But yeah, Joe Tarp's probably the next best. Obviously, a guy that we always have over Origin, 623k. Got pumped last week, so take his score with a pinch of salt.
Yep. Let's move on to the sells for this week. Josh dying in the background.
Am I muting my mic? I think I'm trying to mute it every time I cough. Hopefully it's...
Yeah, for the most part it is. It's fine.
No,
First sell on the list is Ethan Strange. Price is topped out. Max Plath sitting there ready to grab at 5'8". Is it Ethan Strange to Max Plath probably going to be one of the more popular trade outs for Strange this week?
Yeah, it's one of mine. If
1-9.
I wonder if Dillbags was back, if I might even overlook Plath, to be honest. I consider Dillbags fine.
Dillbags with no Moses, no Gutho?
Yeah, because a bad Dillbags is still the 583.
I don't know. I want everyone back before I buy him. He's 650k. He's not even cheap. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting Dillbags.
I think I'm waiting for Moses before I'd buy Dylan Brown. That's probably how I'd look at it. But anyway, Ethan Strange, definitely a sell. It's just a matter of whether you move him on for a centre wing or whether you move him on for a 5'8". That dual flexibility is very handy. So you've got some options there. Sean Lane, second on the list. I'm punting Sean Lane this week, and full transparency, you don't have to, because he's not going to lose money this week. It's one of those luxury kind of upgrade trades, really, where we're looking at it going, all right, he hasn't really done much up until this point. I do want to strengthen my side this week and strengthen my best 17. And Lane to Nickera is the trade that I'm making this week that I'm pretty set on. He just hasn't looked himself, Josh, has he? Like, in terms of what we would know or what we expected from Sean Lane, he's been fine at the price point, but we were probably hoping for a bit more.
The problem is, like you said there, like he hasn't been great. And even when he has been great, he's still shit. Like, I remember a game where he scored a try with a line break and scored like 65. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Yeah, I'm keen to jump off. If you were dead set on selling Terrell May and Sean Lane, I would do May this week and then Lane next week, just because Lane's not going to lose any cash this week. So yeah, like I'm just getting rid of him. Like, Joe Chan is giving me the same production. And like the only reason I'm playing Lane week in and week out is because that 80-minute role. But like, Joe Chan is just doing more at much less price. So I'm just cashing out while I can. Nickera, even Faino. I'd rather play Faino at 2RF over Lane at the moment. So he's a guy I will be looking at moving on next week. I'm just not doing it this week because I am trading out May.
Fair call. Tommy Flagler, we spoke about him earlier. He's a move on. He won't be back for another 4 weeks. Probably won't even get an Origin gig at this rate, based on the amount of footy that he's missed with that shoulder. So we can skip past him pretty quick. But Mattrix, talk to us about James Schiller. Obviously not named this week, so maybe the same applies to Sean Lane. It could be a wait potentially if you had other fires, but he's pretty much ripe and ready to go.
Yeah, unless it's about the buy, just wait a week. And in saying that, like, yeah, you want Schiller out of your team, great. But unless it's about, I consider Ruben Garrick maybe a must-have this week with his break-even, because I might never get Ruben Garrick at the same price again. Probably similar to a Britton Nickera or somebody like that. But yeah, unless it's about the buy, just wait a week. Don't waste a boost on Lane. And of course, Schiller is probably where I'm sitting on the fence with that.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of like, so for example, like full transparency, in my team, I've got 4 guys on the chopping block. May, the Terrell variety, Sean Lane, Strange and Schiller. I'm holding Lane and Schiller this week. Schiller getting dropped was the greatest thing I've seen in this team this Tuesday. Like, it's just like, fuck yeah, because I was trading both of them, but now Schiller's holding price, which is amazing. So I think if you're tossing up between the 4 of those guys, for example, I'd trade out the guys that are playing just because of their break evens and maximize the cash flow. And like, yeah, Matty said, you can get Garrick at a break even of 2 at 600k, which is just absurd. Makes me sad that I'm not going to have him.
Yeah, a bit like that. There's now the watch list is going to be a very contentious one. There's a bit to talk about with these guys, so let's get into that.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Hang on. I've been away for like 3 episodes. And we got a fucking stinger.
We've got a stinger for it. We're back.
It's been around for 3 episodes.
Did you get my man flu voice to voice over that?
yeah, very good.
Yeah,
I had someone, like you would have seen on the show, I had someone follow you around on the cruise the other week. So
yeah.
David Armstrong, Josh. Initially, there were worries potentially about job security, but he surely was good enough to lock down this spot based on what we saw last week. But the safer play is to still have another look, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the safer play is to have a look, of course. But concerns over Sharp being, the preferred fullback. But I think Armstrong did enough. Sharp's coming back from injury that you can just play him through Reggie's. If Armstrong has a stinker or 2 back to back, then yeah, let's look at dropping him. But played really well last week. Knights won, which is always handy. And Supercoach cheapy probably of the week. But yeah, smart play is to definitely just wait.
I think he's a super
In
coach
saying that,
cheapy,
though, like,
Matty, because he's sorry, but because
I was
he's
just in
centre
saying
wing.
that, like if you have him as a trade option, like it's not a bad option to buy him. Like that's what I said to you last week in the chat. Like I think going early on him is fine. Like I don't see a world where he's dropped next week unless he's injured. But yeah.
Any thoughts, Mattrix, on David Armstrong? Go early, hold off for a week.
Yeah, I mean, like the Schiller news probably holds people off a little bit because let's face it, everybody owns Schiller. It's not about the buy this week with David Armstrong. Just wait a week. I'm sure you've got somebody that will score just as good as David Armstrong. I could very well bring him in next week, but it's just going to be a wait and see. The Knights aren't going to play full disclosure, I am not. I heard people talk about the Dolphins as if they're title contenders on Twitter. I see some things like that. I am a non-believer when it comes to the Dolphins and the Cowboys this year. So full disclosure, I have zero faith in them, but they're not going to play the Knights every week. But it's promising how well he scored in a low-scoring game. So,
also, just quietly, Ricky Stewart has become the greatest Supercoach coach of all time because he's just given us the most obvious trade next week, hasn't he? Like Schiller to Armstrong will be the most popular trade next week, and for good reason, and it's lined up perfectly.
Yep. And I'm assuming he'll be on the buy list next week, so don't have to buy too much into that.
It's going to be awkward when Ricky Stewart's on Sunrise talking about the 50K he won from Supercoach for all the decisions he's made.
We probably should mention, speaking of Ricky Stewart and Raiders in general, that people are wondering why Chevy Stewart isn't on a sell list. One, we never said to buy him, so that's probably the first part. But, secondly, Ricky Stewart's come out and said basically they're giving him a break. He has had 3 really intense games in a row where he's basically been pulverized 3 games in a row. So they're giving him a break and assuming he's going to be back in a fortnight in that position. We don't know yet because it's Ricky Stewart, so I wouldn't take too much from that. But yeah, at the moment, it's a quote-unquote rest for Chevy Stewart. Speaking of more Raiders, KO Weeks, again, only his second game, so please don't go early. And this is probably a guy that might not even make the buy list next week, Mattrix. He was okay without being amazing, and now this Raiders team are, they're very young. I see them probably starting to taper off.
Yeah, look, if I had to put a little asterisk beside it, good buy in fantasy due to those kick meters, and Ethan Strange still not doing much of the kicking. I sort of thought Ethan Strange might have done a little bit more of the kicking, but KO Weeks is doing the kicking, and of course you get kick meters in that. But yeah, definitely not a buy. Stay away from him for Supercoach. But yeah, he has his place in the world, old KO. So not weeks, maybe wait months.
What about Solomon Alomalo, Josh? Tigers boy on the wing, got himself another gig this week. 38 last week. We could probably call it a flogging. Any love for him?
Sure. He gives me big far Tape vibes. Let's just wait and see. Like I'm going Armstrong before I go Solomona. I scored 49, which was nice. But yeah, we've actually most people are running 3 somewhat primo center wings and probably Kale Euro as their 4th. And then you're going to have Armstrong. You're going to have Guy, who we haven't even touched on in the episode today. Blaze Talangi might get a run at fullback. So it's just there's probably just better options. Like a lot of these guys, like Gago, Talangi, Armstrong, they haven't matured yet. And they probably just got better scoring and security than Ali Malo. So yeah, not for me.
What about Jai Gray then? Because he's an interesting one. The position, the Supercoach position is 5'8" only for Jai Gray. So I'm assuming at round 12 he will get dual if he obviously keeps that fullback position. He's played 3 games at fullback, I think, so far. But there's such a question mark around where Latrell's going to play when he comes back next week, which is why he's on the watch list this week and why he's not a buy. Anything else to add on him, Mattrix, before we move on?
Not really. I expect Latrell to pop back in the back there. If I was I'd probably just expect that to happen. So
I don't know. I've been a pretty big advocate for just fuck it, just Whiten 6, Cuddy 7, Trell 4, Gray 1, and then just have Latrell attack at fullback in the 20. I think a South's fullback, like, I don't have to jump on at 204K. Like, I'd happily pay 330, 340. Like, I'd happily just wait 2 weeks more because we know, like, he only scored 39 last week, but there was like 3 try assists he bombed. Like, he just tried to bomb them, and that's just from my inexperience. He gets those, he scores 100. Like, I'd pay 330 for him. I don't really care that he's going up in price this week. I want to see the role. I want to make sure it's secure. And then, yeah, like, I'd pay up to 330, 340 for him just because of the upside that it's got. So, wouldn't rush out of my way for him, but at 5/8, yeah, the question then becomes, like, what do you do with Galvin? Like, how much time in the sun does he have? So, definitely interesting times at 5/8 happening. Like, I didn't think we would have a conundrum at 5/8. We all just went Dylan Brown because we were like, sweet, don't have to make any trades. And now we're like Max Plath, Lockie Galvin, Strange, Gray. It's like, shit, we've got like so many cheapies that are definitely options.
And if you're like me that has Tamari Martin still sitting there, probably topped out in cash, Tamari Martin to Gray in a couple of weeks could be a pretty easy bailout there. So yeah, some guys to watch this week. Stay tuned. Some of them might be buys next week. Some of them may not be. But we need to move on to the squeeze of the week, brought to you by the Standard Squeeze. Guys, if you are sick of breaking glass bottles, your beers are going warm, your coffees are getting cold, the Standard Squeeze have you covered to help you drink responsibly, but also conveniently with their food-grade quality plastic. Their combo packs also help you measure out the perfect pour in case you need to drive and know how much you've drank. So you can go to their website, thestandardsqueeze.com, and you can use the code IFS15 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. Now, the squeeze of the week with the top score from round 8 was Jamie. His team is the Clavelli Crocodiles with a 1,611. I thought I had a good week. That is big.
Did you read out the AFL score of the week?
No, I didn't. No, this is an NRL podcast.
That seems like an AFL score. That's fucking absurd.
It's crazy, isn't it? So this is what happened. He captained Nico. He also had Fafita, Gus Crichton, Sam Walker, Garrick, and Fuller in his team.
And Fuller. Oh, what a champion. What a champion.
Legendary.
That's some big dick energy.
That is huge. And there are a few other 80s in there as well. I think he had Manu and a couple of other guys. So his center wing was stacked. So well done to Jamie. Send us an email, mate. It's contact@insightfantasysports.com.au and let us know whether you want a 4-in-1 or a combo pack, mate. And we'll get it out to you. Congrats. And Quentin, coach of the Dead Hand Gang, he's into 3rd overall now. Very closely followed by Adrian, who's coach of Latino. In 4th. So we've got 3rd and 4th overall in the group at the moment, 8 in the top 100, 73 in the top 1K. So isn't it funny when our teams start to go a little bit better and our advice starts to get a little bit better, everyone else starts to climb up the rankings. Yeah. So well done to those guys. What we need to do is we need to move into these games. Eels are on the bye now. There is a new segment and a very relevant segment this week because the weather is going to play a pretty big part. So let's get to the weather report, shall we?
And now here's Ollie Williams with the weather forecast. Ollie?
It's gonna rain!
Thanks, Ollie.
You have way too much time on your hands.
I'm just a hard worker, mate. I say it every week. I'm just a hard worker. I hold down a full-time job and do all of this on the podcast.
Do you have a girlfriend, man?
No, I've got a wife, so I've got even more free time than if I had a girlfriend.
Obviously, yes, it's going to rain, but just want to go back to the Eels on the bye. Do you think that Brad Arthur will still make the late change of having Joe Offengawi start this week?
Yeah, I really don't know because he catches me by surprise every week by doing the same move over and over again.
Do you think it's just the number 16 jersey is just too small for Junior Paulo? He's like, well, shit, I've just got to keep naming you in 10. It's just too small. Just
a laundry issue, you reckon?
Do you think Brad Arthur sits there and goes, "I'm a fucking tactical genius. They're never gonna catch me out.
I've got him."
Yeah, so ridiculous. But anyway, speaking weather, now there's going to be a fair bit of rain. Thursday we're going to get up to 10 mils of rain at Sydney Olympic Park for the Thursday night game. Friday we're in Manly. We're going to get up to 30 mils. Brisbane isn't too bad. 1 to 4 mils in Brisbane for Friday night Broncos Roosters. But then on Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be pretty torrential rain in most parts except Townsville. So up to 40 mil at Olympic Park Saturday, 10 mil on the Gold Coast, nothing at Townsville for the Dolphins versus the Cowboys, which is great. But then Sunday, we've got up to 35 mils in Newcastle and 50 mils in Cronulla.
So just to confirm, Trey Fuller is the only fullback that has a dry game this week.
That is correct.
Nice. Also, it's worth noting. So you said Dolphins and Cowboys. Is that who
Yes.
plays? Oh, okay. So just Scott Drinkwater has the highest active break even this week, and Trey Fuller's got the lowest. They play the driest games.
They're playing each other in the driest game, which is fantastic. We'll talk about those games very soon. But Brent in the chat, I probably didn't talk about this, but does rain equal bad? For outside backs, yes. For total point scoring, yes. Predominantly, for the most part, aside from I think maybe it was 4 weeks ago, boys, when we had a fuckload of rain and there were some bigger scores that week. Historically, we don't see that.
I remember that week because it was pissing in Newcastle and KP was the talk of the town. I went out to the ground and it was fucking bucking down and I was like, all right, sweet. And then KP scored like 90, so...
A couple of questions in here, Matty Sherwood. Does it actually affect games this year? I don't think so. I mean, we're talking about something that has historically affected Supercoach scoring for decades. So when we're looking at one bad weekend of rain and saying it doesn't affect it this year, I don't buy into that. I think
we're going to see.
Yeah. With all of the handling errors, the forwards doing a lot of work up the middle, the lack of ability to kind of shift the ball to the outside backs, I think, is the biggest concern when it's super wet. So let's move into.
It is good for Nico though, as Ian says. Last year, wet hit Nico with one hamstring scored 180. So all aboard.
Absolutely. Matty Sherwood wants to bolter bet me. We need to find a kind of a metric that we can track. Over under there, Matty, but hit me up in my DMs and we'll sort something out. I'm keen. All right, Thursday 7:50 Souths and Panthers at Accor Stadium. This could be an absolute mauling if Souths don't get it together. But again, when we see a coach sack, boys, we see a little bit of a bounce back more often than not, don't we? Bit of a wives' tale.
Fuck, is there any chance we can get a Supercoach update to just VC Cleary, C Hines? Like just any fucking chance?
Yeah,
killing me.
I mean, that's the only reason that you can go Trey Fuller, because you can just VC Reece Walsh every week because Broncos play every Friday.
No, there you go. Yep, and you'll be at most of those games as well, so you can give us a live update on how.
Yeah, I actually miss it this week. I'm over in Perth, so I'm gonna pop my Optus Stadium little.
He had to mention his Perth holiday, where he's going to be away for a fucking week, driving around in cars that he gets for free.
You can give us a Fremantle Dockers bloody update.
Oh no, Essendon versus West Coast. I tell you what, the inside Twitter's going to be going off. I'm going to join the AFL team for the weekend.
You get to watch Harley Reid, which is a very good sight to behold. I'm very jealous of that. But obviously, quick sneaky little plug in there that Mattrix won an award at work to get away to Perth. Yeah.
Do you want to tell everyone about it?
No. I'll tell people that I'm going over to Perth. I'm not going to tell people what I do for a job. But heading over to Perth. I've got 5 days over there. I'm catching up with my mate. And we're going to the footy first, and then a little 4-wheel drive trip halfway up the WA coast. So I'm pretty excited for it.
How good. Enjoy that. Me and Josh will hold the fort for you, mate. It's okay. Thursday, let's get into the South Panthers. We've got Tane Milne. He is out with that suspension. He is replaced by Isaac Thompson. Davy Moali back from the dead. He starts at prop for the 4 people that own him, which is nice. Michael Cheekham starts on an edge, and we see Jacob Gagai obviously stays in the team, which is what everybody was looking at in this.
Keon Kolomatangi is at prop.
Again for the second week in a row.
What the fuck is going on? Like, no wonder this prick got sacked.
I mean, and look, we might see some changes here.
Of course,
new coach is always a risk there that things are going to change. So hopefully it changes for the better for Supercoach purposes. For the Penrith Panthers, we've got Taruva. He is back in. Paul Alamotti's out after scoring a million tries over his 2 games. And then we've got Leota back in the team and Sorensen out with a knee injury in that one. Anything to mention here in this one, Mattrix?
Could be an absolute bludgeoning. It just could be. Absolutely anything. I don't know. I just can't get around Souths having a good game, regardless of the old wives' tale.
Also, Rowan makes a really good point. Can we keep fucking Keon Kolomatangi at front row forward just for like 2 more weeks?
That's all we need, isn't it? Because
thank you, Rowan.
Back into the season.
The next position changes at round 12, isn't it? So we're actually pretty close.
Fuck yeah. Give me like 3 more weeks of Keon scoring 35 at front forward and then give you Jill during Origin. Fuck
Yes,
yeah.
please. That would be
Also, yeah,
nice.
just want to add to Sunir Taruva, obviously Tigers royalty. We didn't mention that. I haven't been here, so
We didn't have a
Tigers
news
royalty.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah, how good.
Uh,
Also, we didn't. Oh, well, actually, we'll touch on it in the Knights game because there's one person that we didn't talk about as a buy, and I want to discuss him. Friday, 6 p.m. Manly versus the Raiders at Four Pines. DCE has sought that downgrade, so he is free to play. Bullymore replaces Hamolo Olakawatu with Joafor Sipley back on the bench. Chevy Stewart, James Schiller, and Simi Sasagi all have been dropped, replaced by MasterChef himself, Albert Hopewade, the Bulldogs' greatest signing of all time, Nick Cottridge, and all-around good guy, Elliot Whitehead. He is back. So Ricky swung the axe. Yeah, Stewart has been managed. I don't know what to believe of that. But Schiller is probably gone.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we said it
Yep.
as soon as he signed that there's every chance now he's just going to end up out of the team. We won't see him back, which is fine. He did what we needed from him, and he made cash, and now it's time to move him on. Did you mention Elliot Whitehead? Was that Zach Hoskins' replacement, Elliot Whitehead?
He's come straight back here to just become captain. Ricky just must have a stonk on for him. I just don't get it.
Yeah, he's
Just
got
don't
something on him.
understand. Like,
He's a good guy though.
oh, great guy.
Yeah,
The
course.
best post-try celebration of all time, Elliot Whitehead.
What was it?
That was the
Oh,
one where, yeah, the cricket one.
Oh, the cricket one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elite areas. Probably the only try he
Great.
scored the last
during
6
the
years.
Ashes as well. And then Piers
Oh.
Morgan came out and cracked the shits at a fellow Pom for the Aussie celebration.
Fuck
Good.
him.
Friday, 8 p.m, we've got Broncos versus the Roosters at Suncorp. We've got Ezra Mann back replacing Madden. We've got Cobbo back then booting anytime try scorer lock at Brisbane, Corey Oates. He's unfortunately
Death taxes and Mattrix. I'm surprised you didn't pick him last week. I was shocked.
No, I had another win to get. You should join me sometime.
Tigers, that ain't plus anyone.
That was awful. I looked at that one. I was like, can we get a mulligan on that?
I was thinking, I was like, nah, surely like all the Broncos boys back will be like a little bit slow. It'll be like 24-16, and I'll take my 13.5 start. But nah,
I even told you I was going to this game as well. Like
I was cursed. The minute Appy try was overturned, I was cursed. I was like, fuck it, it's just not meant to be. And that was the last leg.
Weren't they down 20 by then?
No, it was a comeback trail. We're momentum. And then we just got cut.
For the Roosters, we've got Daniel Tupou. He comes in. He replaces Michael Jennings. Radley's on the extended bench in this one as well, so keep an eye out for him coming back from that hammy. Joseph Suaalii, him is back to centre. Terrell May still in the 17 jersey. We spoke about him a little bit more, but there are a ton of questions in here. We'll probably answer this one once.
What happens with Radley? We assume he just comes back and starts. Connor Watson goes to 14 and Su'a Wong just drops out?
I'd hope so, considering Su'a Wong was just the guy that was out of the team and he was fit and ready to play. So it was like a preference not to play him. So my assumption is he drops out.
Could be anything.
Yeah. Broncos Roosters, go on. Give us a little synopsis, Mattrix, on what's going to happen in this one. Suncorp, 8 p.m. prime time. Broncos by 14.
And yeah, that's when the Broncos play their best footy. To be completely honest, this is our best team with Mam and Cobbo, and this is the team. Like, yeah, it's the first week that we've sort of had everybody together, but this could be the team if we can stay healthy. That we could be seen played in the grand final again this year. I think
under over 0.5 spews from Reece Walsh.
He does it every week, doesn't he? Like
Physio was saying he did it really bad at the Warriors too. Like, it must just be a diet thing. Has to be.
Yeah.
He had a Big Mac on the way to the game.
Maybe that's
he's the kind of guy that could just pump 3 Big Macs and still just fucking be in a caloric deficit. Just hate those people.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Saturday, 3 p.m. We've got the Bulldogs versus the Tigers at Accor Stadium. Kurt Mann at lock in this one. And then we see Josh Curran, so he shifts to prop. We've still got Salmon on an edge here, but Jacob Preston is in the reserves, boys. So there's every chance that we see Jacob Preston back from that broken jaw. Who does this shove out then? Do we see then Salmon drop to the bench, or does then our boy Curran end up back on the bench like they started the year?
I don't know. I reckon Serrano just fucking throws a dart and just whoever it lands on, that's because there's just no fucking known
There's no
what's gonna
structure
happen
to
to
this
me.
forward pack at all.
I mean, obviously we know that starting Bulldogs props suck ass, so I'd really hope the Curran just goes back to the bench.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I've got no idea what's happening, but obviously someone's going to have to make way for Preston on the edge, who doesn't play in the middle.
I think it's bad for both, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, Salmon's probably at that point. Well, he's got a 20 break even this week, Salmon. So if you still got him, hold him this week, and then you can reassess next week. But he probably becomes a trade then. Jacob Carraz on the wing. We spoke about him as a nice buy this week with a 20 break even. So yeah, definitely keep your eye on him with a nice matchup as well. I won't talk about he who shall not be named Mattrix, so that's okay.
Good.
Tigers, after getting obliterated last week, are still 1-17 and sticking strong. So good on you, Benji. We've got Stafford Toller in the reserves, though, who might replace Solomona. So
You say thanks, but like, what else are we supposed to do? Like, what other changes can we make?
I don't know, but when I
The
see
only
1-17 and we got flogged.
The only change I'd make
Yeah,
is Staines for Lob. That's the only change I'd make.
But where's Lob been? Like we've been saying, yeah, but like surely he's good enough to be picked in this team.
Of course he is, but like it's just the Tigers. Same with Justin Matamora, but he's injured, so it's
What?
I don't like Bateman at fucking. I know it's great for Fano, but like Bateman at 13 is just so shit.
It's good.
Grass Stains has kind of looked alright this year, though.
Yeah, but it's just like he's just. Why do we buy him? Like, what the? Why are we buying all these fringe young Panthers edges?
What's the chances of Sam Hughes getting a little bit more minutes with a smaller bench? I think I've got that Bailey Hayward still on the bench.
Yeah, it's a very tiny bench. I think Sam Hughes will also get more minutes as the year goes on. Like Gus was pretty transparent saying he hasn't had a great preseason. He's been injured. So I think it's just a continual, gradual climb. And I probably will never sell Sam Hughes. I think that's just it. I think we're resigned to the fact that he will just be front row forward 4 by the end of the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Let's move on to Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Titans and Storm at Seabus. Not a ton of rain around for this one, so it should be okay. All the Sydney games that we're talking about here are going to be pretty heavy downfalls from what we can see. We've got Khan Pereira and Shop are both out. Philip Sami comes back in. Harley Smith-Shields gets another crack against the Melbourne Storm. What a game to come back and have to front up to. Mo Fodawaker, he's out with concussion. We didn't mention him in the injuries, but then the greatest edge forward of all time, Joe Stimson, now starts at prop.
Love him.
Sarcasm.
Joe
No,
Stimson.
I like Joe. He's better at centre.
Were you
He's
boys
huge
playing?
centre.
Were you boys playing Supercoach in 2019?
Yes.
All preseason, like Joe Simpson was about 340k at the Storm, and they were like, "Fuck Joe Simpson, man. He's the bee's knees," and just was dog shit.
And he wasn't. Yep.
Do you go to the Bulldogs for a bit? Do you go to the Bulldogs? I feel like he was at the Dogs for a little bit.
Yeah, he was at the Bulldogs for a bit, Stimson.
Yeah.
He's been a journeyman. I reckon he's been to about a club a year since 2019.
He is Pat Bev.
And I tell you what, at the Gold Coast, he's going to a lot more than a club a year, I'd say.
Yes, I would say so. Wishart now, for some reason, is playing on the wing to replace Coates. I think there's every chance that changes at some point.
Apparently, someone in the chat was saying that for Alongo, there's whispers that he was actually training there. Someone in the chat earlier said it, so maybe we get for Alongo.
That would be nice. Obviously, another then cheapie that we don't need that we can have. But he's a guy.
Not get him.
He could be an option in a few weeks' time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there now. Bronson Garlick onto the bench, Brent, for you, if you're thinking about bringing him in again. But otherwise, the Storm are unchanged. And to be fair, this one probably could be it will be a tough one for the Titans. But they haven't struggled to put up points. They've just struggled to defend. So if the Storm can keep them quiet, it could be a pretty tough game for them.
Also, for anyone that doesn't follow EPL, I want you to go look at Tyron Wishard's headshot and then go look at Alexander Zinchenko's headshot as well. Fucking spitting images of each other. For anyone that doesn't follow EPL, go look at Zinchenko from Arsenal. It's with a Z. His headshot it's just Tyron Wishard as a clone, I swear. Very off topic. But yeah, this is the game. This isn't the game I want to talk about. One of the next one. Cowboys versus Dolphins at Country Bank. Hill and Lukey returns on the bench. Jake Granville, my heartthrob of 2 years ago, drops out. Vaila, also a heartthrob from 2 years ago, plays centre, replacing the injured Chester, as we've mentioned. Kofusi and Kolonu Lemu named. Kenny Bromwich out with the HAA, Max Plath 13, and overall Supercoach fullback number 1, Trey Fuller, is still the fullback.
Yes. Yeah. We've talked enough about Fuller, I think.
The newest member of Brain Ball.
Yeah, he could be. He could be the newest member of Brain Ball.
I will make sure of it. We will be.
We've been having extensive meetings at Brain Ball in behind the scenes. There was rumor that there could have been a Jason Demetriou type meeting going on.
I thought I saw the head coach of Brain Ball and David Armstrong having coffee today.
Yeah, mate, I've been having all sorts of coffees. I reckon I've had 4 coffees today, which is why I'm so wired up for the podcast. So, yeah, there's a bit going on, and the coach doesn't know what he's doing.
Also, Supercoach heartthrob Thomas McKaylee. I'm back on the bench as well.
Yeah,
on the watch list. We didn't have him, but
love
on the
that. How good did he look last week?
How good has he looked whenever he's got the chance? And Todd Payton was just like, you know what? I prefer 5'7", 80 kilo Jake Granville as my middle.
He's getting Jason Taumalolo like minutes for
19.
Yeah, McKaylee. But yeah, mate, you can take this next one away, Josh, because you wanted to talk about the Knights.
I do. Knights 1-17, but Saifidi likely to drop out. Armstrong at fullback again. Kate Wall returns for the Warriors from that throat injury. Bunty Afoa back after the hemi, and Laban drops to the bench. Cool, whatever. Let's chat about Dane Gagai, because we were chatting about Karaz and Garrick, and they're cool and all, but Gagai is also like 660k. There's a couple of questions that have been starred here, and I'll go back and find them about his sort of emergence in Origin, and does he play? Because I don't think he does. I don't think he plays Origin this year. I think it's Val and Hamiso in the centers. It'll be Xavier Coates on one wing and probably Muzz Talangi on the other. Unless I'm missing someone obvious.
No, I think I don't know. I think you're right.
And
it'll be Muzz.
And Garrick's now kicking.
But it'll be Coates over... it'll be Coates over somebody like Gagai.
No, yeah, I think the back line is Walsh, Talangi, and Coates, and then you send as a Hamiso and Val, and then it'll be Munster and DCE. And now you got Gagai kicking. Like, fucking hell. Like, at 660k? He averaged, 77 last year or some bullshit?
Mm-hmm. His base power is...
We're also missing Cobbo. We're also missing Cobbo. So, where does Gagai fit in?
Yeah,
is he an option? I think he's a really good option, boys.
I think Cobbo will get a run on the wing before Muzz, to be honest.
Okay, let's circle back to Supercoach. I really like Gagai, and I feel like we're not talking about him enough.
No, I like him too. I think maybe people are looking for this low break-even centre wing that's bottomed out in price. His break-even 73, and he could easily cover that this week, especially with the goal kicking. I mean, last week, what did he score? 90? I'm just
crash over for a meat pie last week, but still, with the goal kicking, and struck him okay.
I mean, he's only had 2 scores under 50 all year. I think I said on the Sunday show that he missed round 4 randomly out of nowhere, and also missed round 7 randomly out of nowhere with niggles. So, my concern is that maybe even through that Origin period, his body starts to let him down a little bit. I think he's a great shout too. I really like him. That's probably the only thing that I can nitpick out of why I'd be cautious with Dane Gagai is his body.
Misses 2 games between now and round 20. And in the next... Yeah, I was going to say, in the next couple plays, the Warriors, the Tigers, the Titans, bye, then the Broncos, and then the Bulldogs, and then the Storm, who will have a few backing up. So, I mean, I think you could do a whole lot worse. I gave Cobbo as a shout, as sort of a left field shout a couple weeks ago, and he hasn't gone too bad. I'm liking Gagai as my sort of pot option. I think his ownership is ridiculously low as well. This user interface is terrible. Sorry, it's going to take me a long time to get used to it. His ownership is... I can't even find it on this interface. This is terrible. Supercoach, change it back, please.
Jesus Christ. Let's 0.8%. 1,281 total teams have Dane Gagai.
Where are you finding this? Just so I can...
I had to look. So when I searched Dane Gagai, you have to just slide across all the way to the right-hand side to see what he's picked in percentage of teams.
I mean, his player profile. Why can I not find this? What is doing?
It's all over the shop. It's not good.
They changed it in the preseason. It was really good.
Yeah, now
Oh,
it's there you go. So you just got to slide down to season summary, and it's underneath like highest and lowest score and season rank, selection percentage of teams.
Selection percent. Oh yeah, 1%. Sweet. So Gagai is my pod of the week. Gagai.
So you're buying him then?
Oh fuck no. No. Do as I say, not as I do. Do as. Haven't we established this already? Do as I say, not as I do.
That's fair. Last game of second last, or that was the second last game
Can we
of
just
the
touch
round.
on the Warriors quickly? People are acting like RTS is just shit. Like he's averaging 60. What the fuck do people want? I put up a meme on X the other day. It's like it was the Celtic Shack, and that's what people think RTS is. Like he's been really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding him.
One attacking return.
Mattrix, we're talking about RTS and people saying that he's shit, but he's still averaging 60.
He is honestly my center wing 6 at the moment, and I'm loving life.
Sorry, hang on. Center wing. Who the fuck is your center wings?
Go on.
Are you saying about average?
Do you know? Yeah. Do you want a weird flex?
Yes.
Joey Manu, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Ruben Garrick.
Jeff Val.
Oh, I've got Calero in front of him. That's all.
Okay, so he's by averages he's center wing 5.
No, I've got Jack Bostock as well. So by averages he's center wing 6. So
fuck me, he's my center wing.
Bostock's
3.
averaging 65, and
he's my center wing 4.
Euros. Yeah,
I mean, sorry, actually, he's my center wing 5 for counting James Schiller.
Yeah, I was about to say James Schiller's averaging 65.8.
Sorry. Actually, I tell a lie. He's my center wing 6 if we're counting Jacob Gagai, who's averaging 71.
Yeah, well, I mean,
mental.
Jacob Gagai would currently be my center wing 2, based on averages. So
you're playing in this week against Penrith?
Yeah, of course. You know, anybody who plays against Penrith always scores well. Let's move on. Sunday, 4 p.m. Sharks Dragons at PointsBet. We've got the derby here in this one. Toby Rudolph is back. He plays off the bench. Otherwise, the Sharks are unchanged for good reason. They won by 40 last week. Eero's still there at centre, which is great to see. Lomax back to the centres, though, in this one. He's going to cover Moses Sully, obviously. And then we've got Ravalawa back from a knee injury on the wing. We've also got Luciano Leilua. He's named in reserve, so there's every chance he could come in for RFM at the last minute through team changes. Again, a ton of rain in this one. But wet hair Nico, plenty of conversation around him at the start. And I mean, we'll talk about captains very soon, but it's pretty much assumed that there's going to be a lot of people on Nico after the last fortnight.
Yeah, it has to be 50%, doesn't it? For like active players, it has to be like 65 plus. But like even with the dead teams, I still would expect it's 50 plus once we get to kickoffs.
It'd have to be. Anything else to mention, Dragons? I mean, is there concern now with Lomax moving to the centres? I mean, Sully's only missing a week, so we could naturally assume that I would say that Tui Pelotu drops out and Lomax goes back to the wing. Do we agree? Yeah. Okay. Anything else to mention for the Dragons, Mattrix, before we move on?
Not really. Do we think that Braden Trindle being out is going to murder highly owned Mulatalo?
No. Last week they went right just purely off matchup. Like this week, Mulatalo can score four tries. Like I'm not concerned at all with Mull. He scored 50. He did nothing.
Yes.
Like, 3 years ago he scores 12. Like he's improved leaps and bounds for Supercoach. I'm fine with Mulatalo. I'm hoping for a couple more 50 so I can buy him on the cheap, but no. I think what kills Mulatalo is Origin when Nico's out, and it's just Will Kennedy and Daniel Atkinson running the show. I made a joke in the chat, but you boys didn't pick it up, or you obviously didn't find it funny. Do you think we'll see Craig Fitzgibbon giving get it wrong? Yeah. Do we think we'll see Craig Fitzgibbon giving evidence against Braden Trindle just to make sure that suspension is a little bit longer?
Yes, it has to. I mean, we're biased Supercoach watchers though with shit like this. Like, I mean,
I hate Braden Trindle.
The Sharks are first. The Sharks are first. So, like, you know, Braden Trindle played his part in that, whether we like to admit it or not. But from a Supercoach perspective, I'd love to just see Nico just be Nico again from last year.
Also, does Daniel Atkinson have the worst duel possible? Fullback, halfback duel?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
No 5'8", no center wing.
the two most important positions where you stack 4 primos, and he covers both of them. Thanks, Daniel Atkinson, for nothing.
Four primos plus Trey Fuller.
Of course, sorry. And Jareen Buller from last year. Let's talk captains.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
And
You
every
said
time
that-
we talk,
Sorry, you said talk
Okay.
captains. Do we just talk captain?
just one option.
Just one? It's fuck. I hate this because it's so boring.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. I mean, look, people like to get spicy with captains and VC loops and all that kind of shit, but I feel like maybe there was one guy I think a couple of weeks ago that said that Nico's just not a permanent captain option anymore. So maybe we should move away from Nico, boys. What do you reckon?
What a fraud.
Dead
I
silence
think
in the
that,
chat.
I think that same bloke captain Nico last week, didn't he?
He did, and probably the week before. I think I captained him twice in a row, haven't I? Unless it was Turbo.
Yeah.
He might have had
Rowan
Turbo.
makes a good point. Let's talk VC, not C, because
Good shout.
yeah, I mean, we can give these random pods captains and like, oh, Drinkwater's playing in a dry game this week, but it's like it's just Nico, isn't it? Like, get spicy with your VCs this week.
Yeah. Well, what do you? Okay, so here's a better question. Sorry, Mattrix. Maybe I'll start with you then on this. Like, what do you need as your VC loop to actually take or consider taking to go against Nico?
I'd still say 140. Like, it's Nico had one good game. I know he's averaging 90, but he had one game probably at value all year. So yeah, if I get 140 and I'm looking to captain Turbo against the Raiders, if I get 140 from Turbo, I'm probably taking it. I don't have a lot of, especially with Liam Henry out this week, and Joey Lussick, I don't have an A nightmare either. So
Joe Chan.
Isn't it funny though? Like, isn't it with this Nico narrative? With this Nico narrative, people are like, oh, he's been dog shit this year. He's had 2 scores under 75.
yeah,
It's so
you're paying 9 like for a 90 basically.
Yeah, but like even with Trindle, I think we all expected like we're not going to get 90, but like
Yeah.
I didn't project at 82, which he wasn't too far off. He was averaging 78.7 before the Cowboys game. So, you know, we were slightly off, but yeah, obviously 142, 160, and he has a ridiculous average he averages 132 against the Dragons, and that's in 6 games. So not even a tiny sample size.
And we're talking as relevant as last year against the Dragons too, where last year he scored 156 in round 18 and 180 in that round 4 game that everyone remembers too fondly. So yeah, relevant scores there as well. Not like Turbo where you have to go through the archives back to fucking 2011 to try and find the most relevant score he's had against the Dragons.
Right, that was a mission. We had to go back to like 2016 to get Turbo's score. But yeah, obviously got 180 last year at PointsBet in the rain. Hopefully does it again because I made the mistake last week of not captaining him and yeah, it hurt. But yeah, we bounced back. But he's the guy. But if we're looking, you know, spicy VCs, then, you know, Turbo against an absolutely depleted Raiders side is probably where I'd be looking if I had to pick him.
Garrick as well?
Yeah, he's had like 2 great scores at center. One of them was last year, one of them was last week. Like, can we back that in again when you got Turbo there? Like, if you have Garrick, if you don't have Turbo,
yeah,
of course. But if you're sitting there with Turbo and Garrick, I'd know where I'd be leaning.
Yeah, I think so. But have we seen Turbo's massive ceiling, like even recently?
No, I think it's just he is still adjusting. I think there was a chat in the NRL Physio Patreon chat about his running gait and how that's changed and it's making him more efficient. And it's probably just taking out a little bit of that base. I also think people aren't talking about Luke Brooks enough. Like, Luke Brooks is having an effect on Turbo. There's just less touches for him, and I think that's just the nature of it. Obviously, yeah, your fullbacks, you know, Reece Walsh and Pappenhausen against the Titans. Munster could be a great VC if you've gone to him as well. Eli Katoa, it could be a great VC option this week. I'm not touching. I've got a. We didn't talk about him, but I've gotten a few messages about Burton this week. I don't know. Like, I just don't think I can go there for Berto.
Yeah, I think it's just the problem is we've looked at so many other options but him all year. and we pretty much just ignored him. And he's been churning away points in the background, doing his thing. And I'm still haven't looked at him just because I feel like all of the bigger scores are just few and far between for Burton. And also the fact he's paying a bad team tax, unfortunately, when it comes to Supercoach. So people just don't consider Bulldogs players.
Well, this is the matchup he's got this weekend is the 2023 preseason challenge of Dewey versus Burton.
Yeah.
Look, would you look? And I'm pulling your leg here a little bit, but you're selling Turbo. Is Trey Fuller ever an option for you at VC?
If he played a little bit earlier, sure.
Well, who else are you looking at though? Like, because thankfully Nico played last game of the week.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'd probably just have to do it. I mean, I'm obviously if I'm going to captain Nico, I can't VC Cleary. And I don't really feel like VCing Walsh. I don't think that's an option. So maybe
it could be dry. Mr. Weatherman.
I'm VCing Pappenhausen. That's just where I'm leaning towards.
Yeah. I don't have Pappy, but if I did, I'd probably be leaning that way too. If I hold Turbo, I'd probably be captaining him against the Raiders. He scored 165 against them last season when he played them, and they're pretty depleted.
Vice captaining, correct?
Vice captain. Yeah, I definitely VC. I would be VCing into Nico C. This is
the thing now. Like, this is as much as we love Nico putting up ridiculous scores. Like, this is the boring part of the season because the only way you're gaining rank is how good your other 16 players are. And it's not getting crafty with captains. Like, it's just
everybody's going to captain Nico this week now.
It's a bit like Haaland in FPL, which is a bit shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Tricky, but before we move on, we should give a shout out to our friend in the comments that's here every week. It's Ryan from Astute Newstead. If you have currently a homeowner and your rates are above 6.2%, maybe you want to buy a home, maybe you want to refinance or renovate, or maybe you just want to save some money like the rest of us, then Ryan is your man. You can reach out to him, Ryan at Astute Newstead, for an obligation and cost-free inquiry. His link tree is in the description below. He will give you tips on how to grow a mean moustache as well. But hit him up for sure. Now, let's what we should do, because we haven't actually done it very well this year, but I'm feeling we're going to get a win. I'm feeling we're going to get a win. And it's
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
It's supposed to say lack of money.
Hang on. So we're 8 rounds in and we bet Vegas. So we're down $90.
Yeah, I tell you what, I did jump on in the account for a little bit and win us some coins. So.
Let's not talk about
that. What are we looking at this week, boys? Mattrix, kick us off. What's your bet?
Just North Queensland Cowboys. I'm feeling relatively conservative due to the lack of wins, but I think Cowboys can take care of the Dolphins, especially up at home. I know it's paying $1.40, but I tell you what, sometimes it's just about getting some runs on the board.
We need those, that's for sure. I am going with the Panthers game. I am going Brian To'o and Sania Taruva to combine for 2+ tries at $1.91. Just knowing how leaky this South edges are, and especially the amount of tries they've conceded to wingers and centers this year, I think I'm going to take a punt on that. And the price is actually all right. I thought it might have been a bit shorter. I did look at anytime try scorer at Pappenhausen, but it was like $1.60. And I didn't want to be a bitch, Mattrix.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, if we add my leg, we're only getting 5.2 odds. So Mattrix is really letting the boys down there. But, we'll chip away at it. We'll chip away at this deficit. Yeah, exactly, Mattrix. Something a bitch. $1.40 leg. Get out of here. All right, so my bet, the one that will inevitably let us down.
Have you had one that ever got up?
I was carrying you for the first 4 rounds, and I've hit a bit of a form slump. I've fallen off a cliff. After betting the Tigers plus 13.5 last week, we will be doubling down on the Tigers this week. It'll be the Tigers versus the Bulldogs game. Either team to win by 10 or less. So I don't even have to pick the winner. Just as long as it's a close affair, which hopefully it will be.
Ian Johnson says Tigers 13+ question mark in the chat. When you said I'm doubling down on the Tigers, I thought, oh, fuck off. Here we go again.
It wasn't 13+. It was them to just lose by less than 13 points last week, which they still couldn't manage that. But yeah, we're going to go Tigers or Dogs to win by 10 or less. And for those combined, it'll be 5.2. So $52 if we get the big dub.
And we start chipping away at that negative that we're in at the moment.
Ian Johnson will be ecstatic because we'll be playing Guess Who this week. I'm going to be hosting it, and it's going to be a little bit tougher because last time we did it, you guys got Victor Radley, and I thought it was a bit too easy. So we're going to be making the player a little bit more challenging today. Nothing, there's no Billy Magoulias's here in the.
Is it Joe Stimson?
Shit, fuck. No, it's not. All right, you get 10 guesses. You guys are working as a team. I'll keep track.
Okay. Start us off.
Is it an Australian citizen?
Yes.
Making the question hard straight off the bat. Australian citizen. Does he play State of Origin?
He does not.
Okay.
Does he play for a Queensland team?
He does not.
Okay, so he plays for New South Wales / Melbourne.
Or New Zealand. And he's not a New Zealander. So about 3 players.
Yeah, basically.
It's
all right. Does he play for a Sydney team?
He does not.
Ooh, okay. How's your geography, Mattrix? You good?
Not real good. I'm leaving this one to you. So are we thinking? So it's Newcastle, Melbourne. It is New Zealand Warriors. Is he in a New South Wales team?
Did we not just ask that?
No, does he currently play for a NRL team that is stationed in New South Wales? I thought you asked, does he? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you asked if he's a Sydney team. No.
Yeah, Sydney, New South Wales. I'm just trying to narrow it down.
Also, don't forget about ACT. They're also a territory.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll lump it in. It's not the Raiders either. The Raiders aren't included.
Okay, cool.
They play for Melbourne Storm.
He does play for the Melbourne Storm. That's 6. You've narrowed it down.
Is he back?
He is not a back. That is 7.
Is he a prop forward?
He is not a prop forward. That is 8.
Ooh. All right, so we got 2 guesses here. Could be a lock. You're up, Matty.
Is he
not a back?
He is not a half. You got 2 left. I think you've asked 8, so you got 2 left.
All right, so he's not a half. He's not a prop forward. He is not a back. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
He's not a prop forward. He's not a back. He's not a half. And you got 2 questions.
Second rower.
Right. Oh, sorry. Is this? He's a current player, though, right? This isn't a question. He's a current player. Okay.
I wouldn't stiff his that bad.
I was going to say Marcus Bai, but
it's Marcus Bai, mate. What a shout! What a pull!
So close. Is it Trent Liero?
It is not Trent Liero.
All right, just take a stab at a player. It's not the lock, not a half, not a back.
Is it Eli Katoa?
It is no, because Eli Katoa is Australian and not Australian, but it is Cade Burgess who got it correct. It is Joe Chan. I had to check if he was Australian because I know that he was in France for a little bit, so I had the Wikipedia on my screen. So, unfortunately, you boys didn't get that one this week. No Joe Chan.
Yeah, that was much tougher. Very well played. Well done.
Options? Oh, actually, there was a few. Yeah, a couple. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember the qualifying questions, but no, it was Joe Chan.
Melissa was very close with Craig Bellamy.
Yes, he was also in consideration.
Big fan.
Yeah. All right, let's dig into some questions, hey?
It's question time. Let's answer your questions for the week ahead.
First one, Nick Porridge is Ford, Jackson Ford, a good option at 2RF. I don't know if I can go for Feeder considering he's playing for the Titans all year.
Hey, Feeder's averaging like 87 this year in 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was someone on a podcast, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that said as soon as Fafita bottoms out, I reckon he's an option. And there was one person on this podcast specifically that said, I don't care because he plays for the Titans.
I think the quote was, "I wouldn't buy him for $550."
Yeah, yeah, one of your better ones. But anyway, so not a fan of Fafita, but are you a fan of Jackson Ford? Personally, not.
No.
No. So Jackson Ford. There you go, mate.
I just can't see a world where, like, we're talking about how bad the Titans are. The Warriors haven't been fantastic either. Fafita has this pedigree of just being an elite Supercoach player. And yeah, Jackson Ford is scoring tries and he's playing really well. But if you've got the money for Fafita, I don't know if I'm going either in second row forward. I'm going to go like Eli Katoa. I've got Angus Crichton. I'm going to go a little bit cheaper at second row forward. But like, if you can get Fafita, just get Fafita. Even him missing games through Origin might outscore Ford.
I don't know what the difference in price between him and Eli Katoa is, but I'd just rather get Eli Katoa. Or if you don't have Angus Crichton, like just get him.
Ford's $5.99, Katoa's $6.93. Ford also has a 90 break even. It's not the right week to get him, even if you were looking at him. So
Ford as well. Last week was his only good game when you take out attack. He went on like a 6-game spell where he had either a try assist or a line break or a try, and it's got a 45, 29, 61. So 61's been his best performance in BP since the start of the year. So I'm just not keen at all for me.
Fair enough. Munda Difflin, is Nanai Supercoach relevant this season? I mean, coming off 104, I guess he's now caught people's eyes. But he's been kind of quiet.
But before that, he went, let's go 46, 50, 33, 42, 46, and then 104 after going 80, 86, 63 at the start of the year. I need to see more, even at the 500 price. Look, you could buy him and just hope he goes well. Like, it's great value for money, but you could just see him. What's that?
That's just Nanai though. Like, he is just a 40s or 100s guy. He'll average your 62, but he'll never get your 62. Like, his COV's through the roof.
Last year we were talking about how his base had improved as well. Like, he started actually scoring pretty consistent 60s without relying on attacking stats, but now he's gone back to the mean of what we know Jeremiah Nanai to be. Also, potentially a chance to play Origin football. I would assume that he'd be in the running to play some Origin football.
Yeah, he'll be in the mix. Yeah.
It'll be Fifi on one edge, probably Nanai on the other.
I'd assume he'd be on the right edge, yeah. So, yeah, definitely not the right time, I don't think. But, yeah, nice. I can understand why the question's there because he has kind of bottomed out.
You're right, though. The BP did fall off because I remember going into bat for Nanai on X because he was averaging like 61 BP through the first 4 weeks. And I was like, shit, has he turned a corner? But it just dropped off a little bit. I think he's also been pretty banged up. Like, I feel like every game he's like wincing or like on his haunches for a little bit. So, and I don't know, like probably not now with Lukey back. You don't know what the rotation's looking like with Lukey and Finafuiaki and whatnot. So probably just wait until post-Origin.
Yeah. We'll cover this one quickly because we talked about it a lot at the start. Lee Nolan asking what our thoughts are on Terrell May with Naf White playing well, getting a few more minutes, and Lenu coming back next week. And Josh, you kind of summarised that pretty well with Lenu due back soon, even if Collins is gone.
He's back next week.
Origin.
It's been quick, hasn't it?
Very quick.
8 weeks.
I actually traded him out like 2 weeks ago. I could have just held him. But yeah, probably
a flash.
I'd say Terrell May probably sticks around where he is. I honestly thought I was getting a little bit excited about Collins going away to Origin, but I didn't even think about Lenu. So yeah, that probably kind of stunts any kind of relevance moving forward. So yeah, he probably could be a sell, I would say. Melissa Hanson baiting me with this question, or are any of you taking Fuller for that?
That was Fuller. That was before you started talking about Fuller.
Elite areas from Melissa.
Yes, she's got me covered there.
The spin
probably already answered this one, but there's a chance. There's a
Braino is. I'll make sure of it.
Clay Cuba, boys, do you think Gagai is going to play Origin? No. Probably not.
Jacob Gagai too good.
Jacob Gagai, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. No, Dane won't. Not with the depth that they have in the outside backs, I wouldn't have thought. Radio Buckley, Britton, Nickera, is he a buy this week or next? Bottoming out in price, Smithies to Nickera seems simple enough. I think so. Yep, I'm bringing in Nickera myself. Are either of you?
Yeah, I am.
I
Beautiful.
can't this week. I've got some, obviously not having Nico.
Like a Nico size hole to fill.
Yeah. Let's just get Nico next week. Let's just worry about my second row forward 3 later on. So,
do you because you talk about it every week, but you actually haven't mentioned it this week? How much money you have in the bank? So, do you want to share that?
So after 3 trades this week, instead of having 770, I've only got 523. So, yeah, it's dwindling.
Hard times.
Dicks out for Mattrix.
Good. This one's an interesting one from Jamie Camilleri. Do you need Nathan Cleary on your team when you have Sean Johnson? Now, you have Sean Johnson, Mattrix, but you obviously don't have Nico. You have Cleary in your team, so it's a bit of.
If I had SJ and Nico, I would be completely fine not to burn a trade in halfback. But yeah, if obviously I have SJ and Cleary, so SJ is the man on his way out. Cleary was on his way back from an injury. Let's just wait and see. Cleary will get back to his best. SJ, I was probably looking to trade after this week, regardless, back to Nico. Nico's just forced my hand.
Cleary will be the halfback too. That's undeniable. But I don't think he's going to be breakaway halfback too. Dylan Edwards is getting more involved, which I think does hurt Cleary a little bit. I don't think he's a must-have at this point.
Okay. I'm going to clip that and put it on social so that eventually when Cleary goes on a run, you can now cop the heat and everyone will forget about me.
He is the halfback too. He is still the second best halfback.
No, we're cutting that out.
Yeah, we'll cut it out.
25 points. Fuck you, I hate you guys.
There's going to be some Love Island style editing going on here, and it's going to make you look awful.
So break it up. You know the Simpsons meme? It's just the sweet candy ass. It's just when they break up the. No, you'll clip me from earlier in the podcast when I say I'll say not somewhere, and you'll be you'll clip it there when it'll be Nathan Cleary is not the halfback too. He is not a must-have. You'll post something that's 210.
I don't know whether I'm that good at editing, so but I'll
I don't know, mate. We saw your weather sting. You're pretty heady. I can see where all that Insight Unlimited
great areas.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe on the Cleary and SJ thing, the physio kind of did a bit of a deep dive on Cleary, and the one thing I think people are forgetting last year is that Nathan Cleary did his hammy with a 4-day turnaround after Origin 1. So, are they going to be more hesitant with Cleary through Origin, knowing the fact that the Panthers have 3 4-day turnarounds after all 3 Origin games for round 14, 17, and 20? Are they going to rest Cleary, or is he a chance of resting instead of backing up this year, knowing he did that injury last year at the same time?
We've also got Brad Schneider as well, so it's just sweet.
Yeah. So
I think we see very little of Cleary for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah. So fair call. Vera Wine, Lane to Nickera. If you could go to Fafita, would you?
Yes.
Look, Mattrix has the cash for it. I reckon.
I'm going to be making this decision next week, but I think I'd rather stepping stone Nickera in with Origin just being around the corner for Fafita. I think Nickera will score more over the next 10 weeks than Fafita, but that's because he's going to be missing games due to Origin.
Yeah,
you want both. You want both.
Yeah, it's just tough now, this timing, isn't it? Because all of these guys are starting to come into some form, like your Fafitas and your Munsters and these Origin relevant players that are going to now miss some time over the next 10 weeks. So yeah, just shit timing for these guys to come real good. But at the end of the day, you only need your best 13. So that's the saving grace there through those major buys. Rowan loves that we got grief for our hats last week, and then in full solidarity, we doubled down on wearing hats this week. Thank you, I think.
That's because you can throw hate to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's true. You got a pretty thick skin over there, Mattrix. Ian Johnson, when's Rapana back? Was it? I think it was an 8 to 10 week injury, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So still got another at least 6 weeks that we're going to miss, or 5 weeks until he comes back. And they're talking about Chevy Stewart having a break for 2 weeks and coming back into the team. So if that tells you anything, Rapana's probably at least 6-7 weeks away. I would assume.
Are you dying, Josh?
Oh yeah, Ian Johnson asked in the chat when I'm eating, and I said chicken noodle soup. My throat's gone.
Yeah, good. Matthew Sherwood, hypothetical: if Latrell is available at centre wing, do you get him?
Yes, 100%.
You don't
I'd rip
even
my
have
team
to
apart.
twice. Yeah, definitely. Goal kicking centre winger. Yeah, 100%.
He averaged
in.
like 76 at the Roosters at centre wing, playing centre.
Yeah, it's a definite yes. Scorched Earth. How much will Lewis Dodd be to start the year next year? This is your forte, I think, Josh.
I'm glad that I'm glad I actually tweeted about this the other day because linked. I gotta go scroll through 4 million tweets as per usual, but based off this year, KPP and Smithies came in at 435, and I just couldn't look at him next year, even for that. We know that the halfback for South is a poison chalice, and I just don't have any interest in him. Like, he'd have to be like 280 for me to even remotely look at him. Apart from Adam Reynolds, who was goal kicking, there's been no relevance. Ilias hasn't averaged above 35, and Hawkins hasn't done much more in a small sample size. So I would suggest he comes in, and we probably get a salary cap increase next year, as we do every year. I would say he comes in at around 370, and I just couldn't touch that with the position he's walking into.
Yeah, definitely. Second Solution wants to know what the over-under beers are for Mattrix during the Perth trip.
So
beers. I'm talking kegs.
7-day trip. 2 days with my mate.
At least 12 a day.
5-day work trip. Yeah, that's sort of where I was leading with that. I'm gonna go with 100.
Oh,
yeah, I reckon that's a good line. Good line.
That is a good line. Yeah. Good. Well, hopefully you come back in one piece. But you do this religiously anyway, so you're well conditioned.
Work shout.
Yeah, that's even better.
Check your Facebook, Braino. Check your Facebook messages, Braino.
Okay. Ian Johnson, Sam Walker's off contract in November, and he's touted to go to the Broncos to replace Reynolds. What are your thoughts, Mattrix?
I wouldn't hate it. I don't think Jock Madden is the man to lead us to a premiership. I think once Adam Reynolds drops off, then I think we've got a massive hole to fill. I think, we've got lots of young guns coming through, but I haven't seen anything that's going to fill in the halves since Ezra. So, I would take Sam Walker back.
I know the Broncos fans love Ezra, man, but if I said to you could have Cam Munster right now, but you lose Ezra, would you do it?
I saw enough in the grand final last year that I'm going to take Ezra.
Jesus. That's loyalty.
That is loyalty. I thought he'd say. That's why I wanted to ask it. You take Ezra over, and I'm talking like Ezra just vanished off the face of the earth. You get Cam Munster at what, 29? I'd still take Cam and stuff. Fuck.
Yeah, me too. But
yeah,
it's
probably hard overhead. So
fair. Cleary captain this week, boys. Any love from Envy McGurk wants to know. Thursday night captain in a wet week. No, thank you.
He's just a VC, isn't he?
Yeah, and that VC means you can't captain Nico then. So yeah, and then you're probably looking at Turbo, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, I think VC Cleary C Turbo's fine if you don't own Hines, but don't captain him.
Ethan Malone, if it was your fourth boost this week, would you use it? If so, give some examples of people you would boost to trade for people who have all the Raiders.
4 boosts, amateur. What a rookie numbers.
Hey, I've only used 3 boosts. I'm probably going to pull my 4th this week, I reckon.
Nah, be a man. Boost.
I'm going to pull my 3rd this week.
I don't have any to pull, so my answer, Ethan.
So
it would be
you've
tough
got
for us.
Raiders. So sorry,
this
gentleman has.
So I was just going to say, assuming he's got Smithies, assuming he's got Schiller, assuming he's got Ethan Strange, go Mattrix. Who would you trade? Who's your priority in terms of those 3 to trade out?
Yeah, so hold on to Smithies. Strange is the number 1 trade out, obviously, with Schiller not getting named. So if you're pulling the boost, it would be for Plath, number 1. It would be Dillbags for number 2 for me, because you're not going to have that. Unless you've got Tamari Martin in the mix, in which case pull the trade and try and get, I suppose, a Garrick or there's plenty of centre wing options. Val Holmes, we didn't talk about as a captain option this week, but in dry Townsville, that could be an excellent matchup for him. Especially, I think we were talking a bit off air about Valentine Holmes running at Tessie New. Write that down. That could be huge.
That could be large. But again, probably going to need to see what the weather looks like on Thursday.
I don't think trading out Schiller for a boost is worth it. And that's coming from a guy that trips the drum.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess it just depends what you're doing with your other two as to whether Schiller is the facilitator of that boost and to get you 2 upgrades, or whether you're upgrading Schiller. But yeah, you can wait because he's not playing. He's not going to drop cash.
Strange to Max Plath with a negative break even, and Strange with a break even of like 100 is worth a boost to me.
Strange is, absolutely, but I wouldn't say Schiller is, because he loses $0 this week.
Yep.
Fair call. And let's wrap this one up with this question here. Obviously, we're not 100% set on our trades, but what are we thinking this week before we wrap up? Mattrix, what are your trades this week?
I can't watch another game not owning Nico Hines. So SJ to Nico, Ethan Strange to Max Plath, and I'm still probably going to move Schiller out for Garrick because I think I can get a little bit more out of Bostock. So,
mine is not Yam May, Terrell May to Britton Nickera via Joshua Curran. And who was my other scrub that I brought in? Oh, Max Plath in for Ethan Strange. And then next week we'll be looking at James Schiller out to probably Armstrong. And then, I don't know, something.
Yeah, I'm at this point just stuck on Lane to Nickera. And then obviously, because I have to get Fuller. So it's going to be Turbo to Fuller. And then I'm going to have $1 million in the bank, I reckon. Now, I reckon I'll probably have... I'll have a lot.
You need to keep some. You need to keep some because you need to trade Fuller out.
I do want to upgrade. I do want to upgrade Schiller, but I don't know whether I need to do it this week. So I might not even need to boost. I might just hold that money in the bank for next week and then just go double upgrade, hold on to a boost. Not 100% sure, but that's probably it.
And just quickly, I'm not a religious man, but anyone out there that does say grace before they go to bed, please keep Ethan Malone in your thoughts tonight. He has Joey Lussick and Denny Levi as his hookers. I'm so sorry.
That is, I mean, you don't really have to be, because I feel like every single time that Levi has scored a try, Lussick hasn't really done much.
He would have scored last week, but he dropped the goal.
That was awful. I would have caught
that. Floating around the internet. Very good. But guys, that'll do us. Another big marathon, hour 47. The AFL boys are doing longer streams than us now. They took it as a challenge.
Yeah, really.
This could be 2 hours.
Only 2 of them as well. At times. Mental.
Very impressive. But guys, that'll do. Obviously, just remember to join the free Discord. Some cracker blokes in there talking Supercoach. I'm not referencing us. I'm talking about everybody else. Or if you do want a little bit extra and you want to find out our trade so you can do the opposite, you can become an Insight Unlimited member as well for only $25 for the full year. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, follow, review, do all that good stuff. We would appreciate that. And we will see you Sunday for the wrap up. Good luck this week. Plenty of green arrows. Catch you later.
Cheerio.